I'm a mathematician and a physicist. You cannot tell me.
So I have a question.
And also, you're not a biologist.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about this woke, quote-unquote, genius level guy, highly credentialed young man out of college, getting super triggered at a Ben Shapiro speech. We're going to get to the video in a minute. If you want to see that info without my commentary, I'll link to that in the box. But to back up a little bit here, I think Ben was talking about a few different things, talking about gender and whatnot, and the guy did not like that too much. He wants to retaliate against Ben, not in a physical way, but using his words. He did not do a very good job of using his words, but he attempted nonetheless, and we got to check out what's going on. And again, if you want to see that full thing, the full clip, I'll link to it in the box without my commentary, but let's take a look at it right now and see what's going on, and I'll stop it at certain key points to interject and give my 2 cents. And you see, this comes from Ian Miles Chung. He reposted it, and his caption says, "If this kid is really a mathematician and a physicist, then America's future is not in good hands." Let's go ahead and roll it.
I'm a mathematician and a physicist here, a double major, and I also just won the most prestigious award in the country to pursue research at any institution I want, the National Science Foundation Graduate Research Fellowship. So I think I'm pretty, qualified to say that most of what you're saying is based on, old data.
So first, before we even go any further, it's the appeal to authority. Hey, I'm the guy you should listen to. I know this, I know that. Even if what I know does not directly relate to what you're talking about, it doesn't matter. I'm a big brain, super genius, 9,000 IQ. Listen to me, don't listen to you, right? You're not smart at all. You don't have any degrees, although Ben Shapiro does have degrees. He is a real lawyer in real life. But don't worry about that. I'm the smart one here. You just don't know what you're talking about, pretty much. That's what's going on. So if you got to say something like that, it kind of kills your argument from the beginning, at least in my humble opinion. You should be able to argue your points without trying to give your credentials as some kind of expert guy in an unrelated field.
But my question to you,
I
want you all to realize that.
Last month, but sure.
For example, gender identity disorder, that's the DSM-4, bro. We use the DSM-5 now for psychologists to be able to talk about...
I literally cited the DSM-5 in the speech, and it's called gender dysphoria, which is a term that I use throughout the speech, not gender identity disorder. You sound
like a... So the guy already, with the straw man argument, saying something that he didn't say. He said, I'm talking about gender dysphoria, and that's the real thing. Gender dysphoria is what these guys that are in the military are, or at least were claiming to get free sex changes on a taxpayer dime in the military. So it's like, okay, I'm in the military, I'm serving or whatever. You know what? I have gender dysphoria. This is a medical condition, and the way to treat it would be to get a sex change for free on the taxpayer dime. That's not good at all. Let's back up a little bit here because he wants to respond. The guy, the funny hair guy, he wants to respond.
It's called gender dysphoria, which is a term that I use throughout the speech, not gender identity
disorder. You sound like a bozo, bro. And you get no and you can't even make your wife, bro, so what's good?
You know what? I'm not sure how old this guy is, but he's probably about, I mean, by the way he's talking, that's the kind of thing that I would have said when I was like 14 or 15 in high school. Okay, when you're in this weird kind of awkward stage dealing with girls and you don't get no girls, bro, you're a virgin. Meanwhile, y'all all probably virgins when you 14, 15. You know what I'm saying? That's like little kid stuff that he's talking about. And he's in college. Is he in grad school? He sounds like he's 15 or 16 years old by the way he's talking, but he's probably about 23. That's called arrested development. You're not really developing properly. If you want to talk about Ben Shapiro not getting girls, I mean, sir, look at yourself right here. Just take a look. Look at yourself right here. How many girls are you getting? Look at your hair. Look at how you're dressing. Look at your teeth. Look at how you're talking. What's going on here, sir? You should not. Matter of fact, if you're in college, you shouldn't be talking like that. You should focus on what you got to do. Focus on building yourself up. Don't be worried about the girls. The girls going to be there regardless of what. Okay. And if you get money, you become successful, they'll be there. You could be 100 years old with an 18-year-old if you want to do something like that. You understand what I'm saying? Focus on what you got to focus on. Don't focus on being so weird and cringe like how you doing right now. But let's get back to it.
So, let me just say, the nice thing about having several small children is I don't feel the necessity to have my masculinity challenged by
Right. He has kids and he's married. So You don't got to try to challenge me. Like, you try to get married, try to have kids, try to raise a family. You know, you're struggling to pull on a shirt in college, let alone do what Ben Shapiro is doing. So let's not go down this weird road.
The necessity to have my masculinity.
We're using a Western colonial idea of gender, then why should it apply? If we're using, because the gender.
So the idea of gender is a Western colonial idea. Is that's what he said. Let's keep on rocking.
Binary is a Western colonialist framework of gender.
You're right. Men and women don't exist in any other culture.
No. Think about Native American.
Nailed it.
Third gender people. I'm not saying that third gender people exist in Native American societies. Western African.
Third gender? What you mean? What is a third gender? As far as I know, Mr. Scientist, Mr. Big Brain, Mr. Genius, all I know is XX or XY. And if you got some other kind of weird stuff going on, that's a different story. But generally, 99.9999% of the time, XX or XY. Either you are a male or a female. It's really simple. Ain't no third gender. You can make up a trillion genders in your mind if you want to believe in it, but just because you believe in the Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny and things of that nature does not make them real. It just means that you believe in it. That's all. But what we could prove when it comes to real, quote unquote, science, as a cool kid say, is XX or XY. Keep it simple and plain like that. Do not complicate very easy things.
African societies, like Southern Native American societies, like Mexico. So in other places that are not white dominated,
and
like the United
incorrect.
States or Europe. And so you're saying
white,
so non-white people, I'm a mathematician and a physicist. You cannot tell me.
So I have a question.
And also you're not a biologist.
So he's a mathematician and a physicist. So what's it got to do with XX or XY? I mean, are we doing algebra? Like what's going on here, sir? I don't really understand the correlation between what your field of expertise is and a basic thing like men are men and women are women. How does it really compute? How does it relate?
Question.
I'm 20.
As a mathematician and a physicist, what in the hell do you know about human biology?
And you got your law degree from Harvard. What do you know about biology? You got your law degree from Harvard.
And frankly, I would ask another question. If your logic is so flawed as a mathematician and a physicist, I would suggest that whichever institution gave you an award, revoke it immediately.
Fantastic. Shout out to Ben Shapiro. He didn't need to do that much. He didn't need to do too much on that, which he didn't. He just kept it straight to the facts. Very calm, cool, collected. I really enjoyed that from my man Ben Shapiro. That was fantastic. But you know, there are a lot of kids like that. Okay, a lot of kids like that. At my age, I'm old enough to be that guy's dad. You know, he's probably about 18, 19. Maybe he's older than that, but I can't really tell. And that's a big part of the problem. A lot of these kids aren't really growing up properly. They're being coddled. They're being fed misinformation. I mean, that kid right there, he probably went to K through 12, indoctrinated, college, indoctrinated, television, indoctrinated, music, movies, video games, everything, indoctrinated. And now here he is with half a shirt on talking about I'm an expert in math, so I know what gender's all about. There's a lot of kids like that. And this is how, quote unquote, they get you. It's not just through one thing. It's not just through a particular policy from the federal level or the state level when you're talking about law. It's about getting you early. This is why the whole, what they say in Florida, the quote unquote, don't say gay bill, although it's not what it is. It's a parental rights and education bill. That's why that bill is so important and so heavily fought. And the bill basically says, hey, you can't be grooming these children when you're talking about transgender issues and all this other kind of weird stuff. Don't groom them. Leave them alone. Let them just come to school and get the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic, all right? Let them get those 3 things. That should be your focus. You shouldn't be talking about LGBTQ elemental P to a 5-year-old. They're too young to understand that. All you're going to be doing is brainwashing them, conditioning them, grooming them, which is something that's completely inappropriate, right? This is what child offenders do. They groom children from a young age. They get access to them and they groom them to what they want them to be. That shouldn't be going on. If I'm in school, I'm here to learn, not to get groomed, not to get abused. Simple, okay? But a lot of people don't like that. That's why they're fighting so hard against the bill, because they know if bills like this are able to go into law, which they did in Florida, they're going to spread, and then it's going to reduce their ability to create kids like that you just saw on TV, on the screen. Okay, they want to create more of those guys that are very malleable, that are very soft, and basically be their foot soldiers to enact whatever they want them to enact. They'll go out there and vote the way they want them to vote. They'll go out there and behave the way they want them to behave. They'll be docile. They'll be subservient to the state. They won't be freedom-loving people. They won't be independent. They won't do anything for themselves. They'll serve whoever they think that they should serve due to their prior indoctrination. So yeah, shout out to my man Ben Shapiro for going ahead and shutting that down right quick. And quite frankly, the guy shut his own self down as well with that weak argument. I mean, the appeal to authority, when your authority is not even in the field of question, is pretty ridiculous. He did not have any sound arguments. I mean, at the end of the day, as I close, we all know what gender is. We all know what some of the basic things are, okay? Ain't no such thing as a Western idea of gender binary being the Western colonial idea. Okay, men and women exist in every single culture all over the world because that's what we are as human beings, male and female. Okay, it really ain't nothing else to it. In order to create life, you got to have a male come together and a female come together one way or another, whether it be through, in vitro, IVM, whatever they want to call that. However kind of way they come together, male and female create life. Male and male can't create life. Female and female can't create life. Your apex gender, fox, fairy, tooth, dust, gender cannot create life. Simple. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about this young man's attempt to quote unquote wreck Ben Shapiro? Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I stand. I think that was a good showing by Ben Shapiro. Not so good by the young man, but I think it also points to a deeper thing where you have these young people that believe in stuff like this. They're really passionate about it. They think that they're correct. And if you think anything else, that you're incorrect. And that's pretty dangerous for society. And I hope that we can reverse this. Hopefully we don't have hordes of these people out there that think and believe and behave the way that young man does. Because if that's the case, we're going to be in big trouble much sooner than later. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.